Hi, it's Sheridan Webb here from the Training Designers Club, which is the place to go for practical L&D support, especially if you work on your own. And today I'm going a little bit off-piste with the normal questions that I would answer, because this isn't to do with training design. It's answering the question, what do I do when I'm quiet? Now, this gets asked a lot, particularly obviously by freelance and self-employed facilitators, trainers and consultants. Now, the Training Designers Club is not a community that is designed specifically for freelancers and the self-employed, but we do have a lot of those people in our community. So I'm very happy to try and answer that question for you. I've spent very many years before I ran the Training Designers Club doing traditional training consultancy work. So I've seen my fair share of lean periods. We all experience them and they never ever go away. But that doesn't mean to say that it gets any easier to deal with. So here are my suggestions as to what you can do during those quiet times. Obviously, you will have thought of a lot of these, but there may be one or two things that you haven't quite considered. And I have actually made some notes on this one. One, so that I don't forget anything, but two, so that I don't ramble on for half an hour, because nobody's got time for that. The first thing is invest in your own personal development. Now, I know that when you're busy, you sign up for lots of webinar recordings that you simply don't have time to attend. So dig them out and make the time to watch them. You've probably also got lots of podcast episodes lined up and probably books on your shelf that you've never got around to reading. Now's the perfect opportunity to catch up with all of that stuff in a guilt-free way. Marketing. Now, when you're self-employed, marketing is a key part of your role, even if you tend to work mostly as an associate. You still need to remind those consultancies what your skill set is and what you're available to do. Marketing isn't something that you should only do when you're quiet. You should be doing it consistently. However, when you are quiet, you have an opportunity to create maybe a lot more stock marketing posts, blogs, images that you can then draw on at times when you are busy to reduce the time that you need to spend then. So maybe write a few blogs, maybe create a few videos, a few images, or create a schedule or strategy for your marketing effort. Number 3 is networking. Attend as many free and low-cost networking events as you can, whether they are in person or virtually. Make contact with people to have 30-minute catch-ups with them. We're all connecting with people on LinkedIn all the time. Reach out to some of those people and say, hey, if you're quiet, I'd just love to grab 30 minutes with you to have a chat and find out what you're up to. You never know who knows who. And do you know what? It's a real mood boost as well when you're sat on your own thinking, what am I going to do? To actually just have a chat with somebody else can really just lift your spirits. So it's well worth doing. Here's something that I often do, particularly I've done it in the last 10 years, is take the opportunity to work on a passion project. When you are client-led, you're responding to your client needs, you rarely have time to develop that signature course of your own or maybe develop your own toolkit. Now is the perfect time for you to really put some thought and effort into that. I tend to write new power hours when I'm quiet, because that's a great time for me to do that. I can set aside a couple of days and really feel that I've achieved something, or I'll search for or create new materials for our VIP resources. There's always something to keep my brain occupied. And here's another thing that you can do. You can update your materials. I know that if you're a talented facilitator, you will obviously just update things as you go. You'll think, I've got a better example to share there. I've got more stories that I can tell. So you do that actually when you're in the room. But over time, your materials end up not reflecting what you're actually delivering. So now's a great time. Check that your models are up to date. Check that your reading list is up to date. Maybe update some of those examples. Think about value added stuff for your recent and past clients. Why not spend time researching and finding useful resources to signpost to them? Just send them an email and say, hey, I was doing some research and I came across this. And bearing in mind the work we did last year, I thought that you might find it really useful. Would you please pass it on to the people who attended my courses? And when they say thank you, you can ask for a testimonial or maybe ask for a 30-minute catch-up to see how the people that you trained in the past are getting on and maybe even discuss future training needs. Here's one that you may or may not like. It's collaborate. It's not something that I say you should do lightly, but equally you shouldn't rule it out. And what I mean by this is find another freelance trainer who could use an extra pair of hands for a day. It's difficult because we shouldn't be offering our services for free. However, if there is a freelance trainer who you admire, if there is an industry that you really want to get involved with, if there's something happening in a company that is close to you, if you know someone delivers training on something that you want to develop knowledge in, you could volunteer your services for a day as a support facilitator, maybe for expenses only, as long as there's value in it for you. So don't make a habit of this. You don't want to be known as somebody who will train for free. Be really clear that it's for you, but in order to get the benefits that you want, you will provide benefits to them as well, i.e. act as a second facilitator. So you should be earning or learning, and ideally both, obviously. But if you can find an opportunity to learn from somebody else and maybe then get a testimonial, it can be a good thing to do, and it can revive your energy as well if that's something that you're missing out on. Here's a simple one. Have a clear out. My inbox is an absolute shambles, so having a clear out of my inbox, having a clear out of my download files, reorganizing my Explorer is something again that you never ever get around to, but you will thank yourself when during busy times you're not running out of storage space on your computer and you can find your materials much more easily. Don't need to do it all in one go, but just give yourself an hour every day for a week to methodically go through and have a good digital clear out. In fact, don't even limit it to a digital clear out. Clear out your office as well, as get rid of some of those books that you know you're never going to read. Some of those folders with materials in that are 20 years old. Get everything out. Create a little bit of space on your shelves and you will feel much better for it. Another thing you can do during the quiet time is to experiment. With technology moving at the pace it is, there are so many digital tools out there that we don't have time to play with. What better time than now? Try out the different platforms. So many will have a 7-day free trial. So sign up for it, use it in anger for a day, see what you think of it. Unsubscribe from that and work your way through all the things that you think look interesting but you've never ever had time to play with. Because when you are busy, you haven't got time to find the right tool for the right job. Another great thing you can do, which is perhaps linked to having a clear out, is to systemize your business. Now, back in January 2025, we had a fantastic lunch and learn by Bex McNeil talking about how freelancers can systemize their business. What do I mean by this? It can be something as simple as creating template emails. So for your joining instructions, for your follow-up with your clients, for your thanks for your inquiry, you could create a template for your proposals. Set up some custom GPTs as well. Great time to get all these things set up. See what you can do to create forms or automations, because all of this will save you heaps of time when you get busy again. And it's actually quite satisfying when you think, right, now I have a system in place. If X happens, I know I send this email, I complete that form, it triggers that automation, and everything is so much simpler. Thinking a little bit more broadly, don't forget self-care. When you are quiet, don't just fixate on what's not happening. Think about the opportunities that this time is bringing you. So you've got a great opportunity to go to the gym a little bit more often, or go on a jog or a long walk in the spring sunshine, just to clear out your lungs and energize your brain. Meet with friends or family that you never normally have time to meet with, or indulge in hobbies and try new things. I mean, why not? Treat yourself. Who knows when you're going to get this sort of time again? And perhaps not quite as exciting, catch up with your non-work chores. I know that your spare bedroom needs clearing out, your hall needs redecorating, whatever it is, your garden needs tending to, whatever it is, take the time to do it now. Do not feel guilty about doing it on work time. What you have to do is find a system that works for you. Now, when I was a more traditional training consultant, I found that working in the mornings or being at my computer in the mornings, making appointments with people, sending out emails, creating marketing, posting on LinkedIn, that made me feel that I had done something productive to develop my business. But then 1 o'clock, I was done. I was out doing other things. I was exercising, I was in the garden, I was catching up with non-work things, trying out new hobbies. Because people start to panic that if you're not tied to your computer and you don't respond to an email immediately, that you might miss the opportunity. But don't forget, if you were busy, you'd be out there delivering. You'd be in meetings. So don't pressure yourself to be available from 8:30 till 5:30 every single day. Some people prefer to say, do you know what, I'm going to work really hard on Monday and I'm going to follow things up on Wednesday and Thursday, do my marketing, but I can give myself Tuesdays and Fridays off. So do whatever works for you. Keep in touch with your business, but don't start obsessing about what is or isn't happening. Sadly, clients will only come to you when it suits them, not when it suits you. And that's why so often following a quiet period, you've been really quiet for 6 or 8 weeks, and then all of a sudden 3 people contact you at once and they all want something doing in the next 2 months. And then you go from one extreme to the other. So don't panic during this quiet time. Stay visible, stay positive, but don't do anything out of desperation. That said, don't necessarily turn down low paid jobs or jobs that are things that you wouldn't prefer to do. As long as they're not going to take up 6 months of your time, it's well worth doing them, because some money is better than no money, right? And if you're doing something that doesn't really fire you up, but it's well within your capability, it can be a really useful stopgap. So be open to all of the opportunities that are out there, but make sure that you don't keep lowering your bar. It's a short-term thing and that's absolutely fine. But don't think if you accept a day's work for 60% of what you would normally work at, don't think that's your new day rate. That was specifically for a piece of work that suited you at that time. And the last thing that I want to stress, and it's really, really important, is when you are quiet, it's the perfect time, it's the ideal time to engage with your communities. Whatever communities you are in, whether it's the Training Designers Club or something for freelance trainers, or a women group or whatever it is, engage with them. So many times people say, oh, I'm too busy to engage at the moment. And then as soon as work starts to dry up, they pull out of all of their communities, especially if they're paid. It's absolutely the wrong time. Your community is a gold mine. It's a gold mine of people and resources. So, for example, in the Training Designers Club, we have almost 60 lunch and learn recordings that you can catch up with. And I know no one's watched every single one of them. We've got over 500 resources that you can browse. I've signposted over 500 articles and videos that people will find useful, covering a whole range of subjects, from leadership to communication skills to diversity and inclusion. What a great opportunity to just give yourself an hour and browse those resources and just refresh yourself of everything that's in there. Who knows what it might spark? And of course, in addition to resources, most communities, of course, have people attached to them. People who you may not have spoken to or chatted to for a very long time. In our community, we have weekly drop-ins. It doesn't matter that you're not designing something right now. Come along to the drop-in. You still have value to add and you'll still learn loads. And more importantly than that, you're building relationships with people. Relationships with people who may come across an opportunity that isn't for them. may come across an opportunity that they need a bit of support with. And if they know, like and trust you, they are far more likely to think of you and ask for your help. And that is how we start to build momentum. So I tried to keep it short. Not sure I succeeded in that, but I do hope that there's something in there that will help you make the most of the inevitable quiet periods that happen when you work for yourself in learning and development. For more videos like this with practical advice, do check out the rest of the Dear Training Designers Club series or the rest of the YouTube channel where I share just random thoughts and musings about learning design. You can visit the website, which is www.trainingdesignersclub.co.uk, for free and low-cost resources to find out about our live events, such as our monthly lunch and learns, and to become a member of our VIP community. And if podcasts are your thing, why not take a listen to the Training Design podcast too?